And we are recording.
And the time is 6 o'clock. All right, ready? Get this show on the road. This is the Suamico Village Board meeting for Monday, February 16th, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. At this time, I would like to call the meeting to order. Just a reminder for anyone here who wishes to speak, please come forward, provide your name and address into the microphone so that we can have it recorded for the public record. Anyone wishing to speak, if you're here for an item on the agenda, we'll do everything possible to give you an opportunity to speak to that item on the agenda. During the public appearance, that is for anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to an item not on the agenda. Be aware that no action can be taken on that item as it is not on the agenda this evening, but it could be referred back to staff for further action. All right, those are the courtesy announcements for the evening. Let's move on. So having called this meeting to order, I would look for a motion to approve the evening's agenda.
So moved.
Trustee Romas has offered a motion to approve this evening's agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Neto this evening. So with a motion to approve this agenda by Trustee Romas, seconded by Trustee Neto, I would look for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed. That motion to approve the evening's agenda carries 6-0. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, very good. This evening, moving on to item number 6. Item number 6 this evening is made up of item A, previous minutes of the village board dated February 2nd, 2026. Item B is the January 2026 municipal court report, and item C is the January 2026 recreation report. Is there discussions or questions on the consent agenda this evening?
Motion to approve, if it's okay with everybody.
And seconded.
I have a motion from Trustee Eckert to approve the evening's consent agenda. That has been seconded by Trustee Romas. Any other further questions or discussion on the consent agenda? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Just a comment, because it did come up. Thanks very much for all the work on the downtown Suamico loop. That sounds like a big project, but it sounds like it's coming together nice from the notes.
We're working on it. You like the logo?
I love the logo. I think it's tremendous. That's going to put us on the map for cycling, isn't it? All right. Good job. Did you do that yourself?
No.
You should have
Efforts
said,
of the committee.
you should have said yes. All right, moving on. Thank you. Item number 7 this evening, administrative items. Item 7A this evening is operators license denial recommendation. Sean C. Berman and DEO Pisani is here this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So the village received an application for an operator's license. We completed a background check on that license. Based on that background check, law is recommending a denial of the license. You have the history in front of you and the guidelines.
Are there questions for DEO Pisani on this item? Any?
Nope.
Okay, I understand that we have Mr. Berman here. Mr. Berman, would you like to come forward and speak to the, I mean, do we have to open it up for public hearing, or can I just,
You can open it.
okay. So I guess I need a motion to open.
Motion to open up the meeting.
Trustee Romas has offered a motion to open this up for public hearing, and I'll offer a second. All those in favor of opening the floor for public discussion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Mr. Berman, the floor is yours. You certainly can. Just make sure that we get your name and address into the microphone for the public record when you speak. Sure.
Sean Berman, 979 Elmore Street, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54303.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I'm trying to get a bartender's license
by all means, just provide your name and address and let us know what you got.
Certainly. My name is Nikki Wagner. My address is 2355 Woodville Court. My name is Nikki. I've been a Suamico resident for 20-plus years, and I've also been in the bar business for 20-plus years. 16 of those years, I have been at chamber sale. The last few years, I have been co-managing. I believe myself to be a pretty good judge of character, and honestly feel Sean is a good person with a past of bad decisions. I've had several conversations with him and feel he has come to a crossroad in his life. He knows his past is there and it always will be. He takes ownership in those faults. He has faced the penalties for those crimes and wants to move forward to better himself. If you haven't been inside Chambers, Rick and Debbie have owned it for 28 years. There are many regulars who have been coming there for that long, and some back to when Buck Chambers still ran the bar. Regulars are the staple in every bar, but can also be quite judgmental. During Sean's training these last few weeks at Chambers, he has received several compliments from our regular customers. Every one of them has told me he's very respectful and shows care and concern for taking care of them. Chambers is known for our food and has become more of a restaurant than your typical bar. We are not a problematic establishment. We take care of our customers and each other. We are a family. I feel Chambers to be a great fit for Sean to grow into the person he wants to be. I'm respectfully requesting you to approve his license. Please take into consideration people do make mistakes, and people do have a past. Not all people who have made mistakes want to continue down that path. Some of them do want to better themselves, and the only way they can is for someone to believe in them and get with a chance. We have a current employee right now who was originally denied by your board also. He came before you and you did approve him. He has been a great addition to our team. I'm asking you to please give Sean that chance to better his future and move forward, as well as allowing a local business the ability to hire someone with great qualities for this position. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anything else?
Oh, sir.
Okay. Questions for the folks at the table? Ms. Wagner or Mr. Berman? Anyone?
Can I ask a clarification on, so an operator's license, so a person can work at a bar without an operator's license, right? Am I correct on that? They just can't have like a managerial role, or can they serve? What's the limitation, what's the difference between a person working at a bar who is 18 and a person who has an operator's license?
Yes, a person that does not have an operator's license basically operates under the supervision of someone with an operator's license or the agent or owner of that establishment. So not having an operator's license doesn't mean somebody can't tend bar. They just have to have somebody there supervising their activities.
Okay, that was my understanding of it as well, which is good because I hold one and I should know. Yes. Okay, so the other side of that then is that there's not a limitation necessarily to his employment at Chambers. He just needs somebody there who has a license or an owner at the same time, which in my opinion might still be a good idea for at least the, oncoming, maybe come back in a year. That's just my opinion. I'm just one of 7. Come back in a year, see how that looks. Continue mentoring him. I'm proud of you, for stepping up, taking responsibility for your past and trying to better yourself, absolutely. My position on this is I think another year of mentoring would be in order, just to be safe. Because remember too, that the operator's license isn't just for Chambers. It's anywhere in Suamico. Your experience right now has been very positive, which is good, and I think he's in a good home to become better, right? But I don't know if that would carry through to another location in Suamico, simply and smoothly, I guess. So that's just where I stand on this.
Others?
And you can respond, I mean.
I would agree, because the last offense was only like 6 months away. That wasn't that long ago. So I'm going with what officer says, and I'm gonna leave it where it is.
I'm gonna go against it. I believe he should get a license. It says in our codes that if you have a felony, you can't get an operator's license. You can be a felon and work at a gas station. You're not taking care of people. As bar owners, we are already responsible for the bar and the employees and the customers that come in. Each and every day, every minute we're open. To me, it's asinine. If we're gonna be held at a higher level to take care of these people, why don't we have the obligation to hire the people that we want? Now, if this is a kid that Chambers Hill wants, by all means, who are we to take work away from somebody? You know, we already have that standard that we have to follow,
They can hire them,
but he's gotta have someone there.
right?
Your
So you
bars
can't
are
do
not
that
gonna
in
pay
zone.
two people to sit. The money is not there.
Just one quick note, before we go any further, I erred in this discussion because I did not close the public hearing. So unless there's anything else from you, the public hearing remains open, so please go ahead.
I just want to put, or to add in there, yes, he can be under the supervision of somebody else. Rick and Debbie, the owners, do require that everybody there has a license. There is a lot of times that bar does get very busy. So for the other person who should be supervising and may not have the ability to watch every single thing that he's doing, and that is why they prefer everybody have a license. So they are solely responsible to know that they are doing what they are properly supposed to be doing, to take care of the people and not serve those they shouldn't. So basically, if he doesn't get one, we can't have him employed there.
Okay?
Officer Pisani, am I right about saying this? So say there was two operators in Chambers Hill. One of the operators goes back in the kitchen to do some prep work. By legality, you can write him a citation for an unlicensed bartender, correct?
No, you said there are two operators, so both would be licensed.
But you can't see them. If they're in the kitchen,
Your hypothetical is flawed because you're saying that there are two operators on site, so either one can serve without being under the supervision of anybody else. You have to rephrase your question.
if one of the operators is behind closed doors in the kitchen, and you happen to walk in as law enforcement on a check, and it's an unlicensed operator.
That's not
behind-
an operator.
Well, there's an unlicensed bartender behind the
Right.
bar. Is that a ticket?
Right.
So that,
It is a ticket.
Yes, it can be,
Okay? Yes, it can be.
because state statute dictates that an operator has to be able to oversee and supervise those that don't have a license. That's been spelled out very clearly in state statute and through the court systems. So it's not just seeing somebody from across the room, they have to actually be able to supervise their activities. So being together behind the bar.
So before we have any more questions, I'd like a motion to close the public, one more comment.
One more question?
Sure?
If, as a suggestion, I guess, or as an option, is there something, I know you guys used to do years ago, there was a temporary, maybe you'd issue a 30-day temporary while the board met, and then you would approve the license or deny them that evening, is that correct? I might be dating myself, it might have been a super long time ago.
You might be speaking of a provisional license.
Yeah, yeah. Is there something that could happen in that instance where a temporary could happen and in 3 months he comes back before the board and you check to see where he's at that point?
No, provisional is separate.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one question.
Could I close the public hearing, though, unless you have a question for
I
me?
have a question for them.
Okay?
Okay. I congratulate you for the efforts you're putting into this. I have a question, is if this doesn't get approved, does he get to work there?
The only way I can have him work is if he is overlapping on a shift with somebody else and it's gonna be very hit or miss.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to offer a motion to close public comment on this.
second.
I have a second from trustee Neto. All those in favor of closing public comment on this matter, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? All right, thank you very much. If you'd like to take your seats. All right, let's continue as we're going forward. Are there other questions, discussion? I do have a question for DEO Pisani if there is no one else.
I have one question. Can they reapply? Is there time that has to happen between the applications?
I don't believe there's a time frame. So we have had applicants reapply in the past.
Okay.
Specifically under Guideline 3, where there's a 5-year limit. Absolutely.
Okay.
So I think that refers to the question I had. So given the list that we have here, the first hit and run offense goes back 10 years? So
That, I believe, is lifetime.
lifetime, thank you. The second one, which is an OWI second, that is 2 years. Would that be, is there a 5-year term?
That one is a 5-year, along with the third offense would be within 5 years.
Okay, so realistically, when we're looking at reapplication for this, if there was reapplication and there were no additional offenses, when would we be looking at him having no offenses on his record?
The felony would stand,
The felony would stand?
yes.
Okay, and that felony being a lifetime restriction
Yes,
according to state statute?
correct.
Okay. So I guess the point on that, the felony that you brought up, trustee Neto, and I don't disagree with you, you know, there are differences, but it's a state statute, so that really needs to be addressed, and I know you're part of the Tavern League, right? Are they doing anything at the state level to try to get this changed?
I believe they are.
Because this is state statute, so we really need that one changed at the state level. And it should be addressed, especially in these times of low unemployment. Other questions? Anybody else?
I mean, if a felony was on, that's still something the board could look into consideration and approve despite, though. Is that true? If we were just looking at the 2015 incident?
Well, historically, I've seen a lot of these. I think a lot of us have seen many of these come forward. There was one that for Chambers that was mentioned, that the board, there were offenses that were within the time period, and I don't remember the specific circumstances of it, but the board did choose to allow the license to go forward, as was mentioned by Ms. Wagner.
So it's possible on that end. The other two instances are fairly recent and within the 5-year, specifically the 2025 incident as well. So it would seem to me that it would be best maybe to avoid the bar scene and then come back when the 2025 incident has fallen off, would be my viewpoint on that. I'd be willing to look at it, I think that's reasonable.
All right,
Based on the question, I want to clarify one thing, though. Deputy Pisani, so the state law does not forbid, correct me if I'm wrong, the state law does not forbid someone from holding an operator's license who has been convicted of a felony.
State law says they don't qualify. So based on, we had this discussion, if you remember, I think a couple of years ago.
I'm too old to remember.
We went in depth on a lot of this. So I'd be paraphrasing quite a bit. State law requires, based off the background, we recommend a denial. What the board does, the board is going to do.
Oh, I see. So a person could come in here with several felonies,
They could.
and you would recommend denial based on state law, but we would have the authority to grant.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
interesting. So we as village board have the opportunity to run counter to state statute.
The statute, though, doesn't say they're forbidden from having an operator's license.
It's worded very uniquely.
Okay, so they're carefully woven.
Okay. Any other last questions? Otherwise, we'll look for a motion.
And just to
to clarify, the motion would be to either approve or deny the operator license application.
I'll make a motion to approve Sean Berman's operator's license.
Is there a second to trustee Neto's motion? Anyone to second trustee Neto's motion? I don't, going one more time. We do it 3 times. That was twice, 3 times. Anyone to second trustee Neto's motion? All right, hearing no one, that motion did not have a second. Is there another motion? Well, it's obvious. So I'll throw a motion out there to deny the operator's license for Sean C. Berman, since we have very few other choices. Is there a second?
I'll second.
So I have a second from trustee Romas. Any other further discussion or questions on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed.
Aye.
So we have 1 in opposition, we have 5 in the affirmative. Thank you for your time. I wish you the best of luck going forward, and we hope to see you again here soon as you work through this. All right. Item 8 this evening, planning and zoning items. Item 8A is a 2-lot certified survey map for PDZ Investments LLC, creating a 0-lot line duplex as prepared by T&T Professional Land Surveyors for parcel SU 2135, 1493 through 1495 Snowshoe Trail. Zoning Administrator Dunks, if you would.
Thank you. We are looking at about a 30-acre parcel here. The CSM that they're proposing would create a 0-lot line duplex. Our original permit documents show that the required firewall between the units and also the code at the time of construction both required that separation. In order to do a 0-lot line, we do need the full firewall from foundation up through the attic space, which would typically be drywall on both sides of that dividing truss. We do believe, based on plans and on state code at that time, that this is in existence. The matters of mutual concern have been addressed. I received that this morning. Everything seems to be addressed in how they will look at whether it's roof repairs or siding or anything of that nature has all been addressed in a document that's ready to be recorded with this at Register of Deeds. They did find that the utility services, gas and electric, do come across the property of one of the 2 units, and they are working to get the exact location on that, so they'll put that easement on the face of the certified survey map. So your planning commission did recommend approval with the 3 conditions. One was the staff review of the private covenants and deed restrictions, which has been taken care of. The second, to create the easements were necessary, and that is in the process, and then meeting the requirements of all their applicable ordinances, regulations, and reviewing agencies. Thank you.
All right, are there questions for zoning administrator Dunks on this particular item? If there are no questions, I would look for a motion.
I do have just one question, if you don't mind.
By all means.
Why? What's the, and I'm sure I missed this.
Why what?
Why are they looking, it's already an existing duplex.
It's a duplex. By doing a 0-lot line, they now can sell each half independently.
Okay, that's the why.
You have the option of 0-lot line or a condominium plat.
Okay.
Some mortgagors don't like condominium plats. Even though it's only a 2-unit, there's nothing usually attached to it, but other than that, everything's the same. You've got,
So the why is so that they can treat each side of it independently.
so you can sell them the 2. I believe the renter on the one side wants to purchase the half they're living in, and he's looking to sell the whole place, but they don't want the whole place, so just another way of getting.
That answers my question.
Anyone else? Questions for zoning administrator Dunks?
I'd like to make a motion then.
Please.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the 2-lot certified survey map for PBZ Investments as prepared by t and T Professional Land Surveyors with the following conditions. 1, staff review of private covenants and deed restrictions. 2, create any easements across 0 lot lines where necessary for water, sewer, and utility services. Meet the requirements of all other applicable ordinances, regulations, and reviewing agencies.
All right, we have a motion on the floor from trustee Romas to approve this particular item, the approval of a 2-lot certified survey map with the conditions as listed. Is there anyone who would offer a second on this?
Second.
I have a second from trustee Neto on trustee Romas's motion of approval. Any further discussion or questions on this particular item? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Thank you. All right, planning and zoning items, comprehensive plan status update. Well, board, less Steve Andrews, trustee, you're in the fortunate circumstance because we actually had trustee Romas has been a diligent attendee at all of our comprehensive plan meetings, so.
Oh, I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Before I give it to trustee Stevens, maybe since you're closest, go ahead. Any feedback from?
I feel like the process has been good. I would have to say that the community members that are on that board, I would just call them outstanding. It's been an amazing experience listening to them. They're thinking a lot about different items, and they're free with their opinions, and that's a healthy relationship, I think. So I think you've got a good citizen committee there.
Who are they again?
I don't know all their names. I know, well, I don't know names. I barely remember my name half the time. Tyler is one. Dan's another
Tyler
one.
Crawley is a 9-year citizen of Suamico. Pat Jellin.
Dan, see now I'm going to be embarrassed.
Okay.
He's going to watch this video.
Sorry.
I can't even remember my last
And
name.
the 2
put you on the
Aherns.
spot.
And the what?
And the 2 Aherns.
Mr. and Mrs. Ahern as well.
And
So-
the last meeting was particularly interesting because there was a discussion about the Farmland Preservation Act. And the amount of stuff I learned, and don't ask me what I learned because I'll just probably not be able to answer any of it. But one big thing I learned is a lot of people didn't even know it existed who were in it. And that was really cool that it was brought up because if nothing else from that meeting, that word can maybe go out. But I learned just by chatting with one of the farmers in the back that there's a lot of challenges that they go through just with what they have to do to be in the act and what they go through on a day-to-day process. It was really nice listening to, I guess, call them the salt of the earth. You know, giving good old thoughts, so.
Did they get my 2 cents?
We got more than your 2 cents. So it was your 2 cents and also Mr. Kronberger's 2 cents. So because those notes they were pretty substantial, and we have the visioning session coming up, which is going to be other citizens to offer their impact. We're going to tackle your notes, Mr. Kronberger's notes, and the results of the visioning. That will all go to the committee for review after the visioning session.
That's an important point. So what was not covered was the Public Works because it just the committee felt that Public Works Committee should get together and have the conversation first. So it wasn't like a long conversation happened on Public Works and yours and Fred's information was ignored. It was just that it's going to be packaged together with the rest of it.
Trustee Stevens.
I mean, just to add more to that, that the meeting, there's a note we can pass around. If you have anybody that's interested in being part of the visioning session, I'd encourage you to grab some of these notes, or we get a PDF in basket. And the meeting's going to be on March 9th, right in this room, starting at 6 o'clock. So this meeting's going to go for a couple of hours. We're going to talk about growth, development, community character, and then taxes, utilities, and value-added services, parks, rec, and public amenities, and infrastructure and public safety. Those are 4 categories. We're going to solicit input from those who decide to attend. So this is a note, I think that, Michelle, I don't know if you can get this to people or anybody's interested.
Yeah, we'll do it.
It was prepared by Brown County. It's, kind of gets us all on the same page of what this meeting's about. So,
And there's a survey link in there.
and there's this, yes, and those who cannot attend, there is a short survey, that, has a link there that you can attach it to.
Could literally be a 1-minute survey
It could be.
to fill it out.
So, and then, as far as the land plan, or farmland preservation, you know, that it was, it took an hour and 20 minutes of discussion that night. And I also think there was a two-way street there. And, that those that didn't know about the program, I think there was probably a misunderstanding that was going on in the room. And that misunderstanding is that if I'm in farmland preservation, if we run sewer or water laterals past their property, they won't be assessed. And so that was some concerns. I think we're trying to get to why are they trying to hang on to this? And I think there was some concerns about that. Steve did a nice job of helping people understand that in the event someday that this were, you know, our infrastructure were to go past any of these properties, there isn't an obligation, even if it's farmland zone or agricultural zone, correct?
The board would still have
They have the right.
the right in a special assessment to
Right,
defer
right,
those assessments until such time that development occurred. They're not required to, whereas in farmland preservation, they can't technically do the assessments, although in order to get on the system in the future, you could be charged a fee equal to what that assessment would be. So what, potatoes, but
but I think that was helpful for everybody to just understand if there's some concerns.
Are
about
these
it.
people more up the County J way or?
They're,
Everywhere.
they were, Michelle, they were, and what I'm also learning is a lot of the people that spoke.
All over.
Don't even have property, right? I mean, you were just sharing with me that some of the individuals that were speaking about this program don't even have property.
well, one
Rented,
owns no property in Suamico, one owns a residential property, and a third one, although he has farmland property, he's not part of the program.
You know, it's important to clarify here. So the issue that was in front of the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, this was the first one of the issues that we have to deal with. And this was really about, it wasn't about farmland preservation, that designation for property. That wasn't going to go anywhere. It was about the 5 or 6 individual farmers that we have receiving the farmland preservation credit.
The income tax
The
credit.
income tax credit. So within the village of Suamico right now, and we don't know how many because the government won't share that information with us, but there's 5 to 6 residents who are receiving a credit of roughly $10 an acre to keep their land in farmland preservation. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. Going forward, that plan and those folks are enrolled in that plan, and that plan comes due again in 2028. Now, in 2028, we will have to make a decision whether we're going to, as a village, stay in that or come out of that. There are 5 or 6 residents who are affected by that. The last time we went down the road, it costs some $10,000 or something like that for us to redo the plan and redo the maps, and that was 10 years ago, right?
Well, we started it in 08, 09.
It cost us some amount of money, 10,000. The village of Suamico, every taxpayer in the village, in the village kicked in, and we have 6 people taking advantage of a program that cost $10,000. So in 2028, it's probably not going to cost us that amount of money, but it will cost us some amount of money. The idea behind that item on the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee was to bring folks interested into the meeting and say, is this something that we should retain in our comprehensive plan as we rewrite this for 2028, even though there may be some additional expense to all of Suamico to do that? Granted, and it affects 5 to 6 individuals. Is that correct? Am I right? Is it
5 or less
5 or less individuals, but
actually take the state income tax credit.
So what we had is we had a room full of people. I mean, we had a room full of people, and it was a wide range. There were folks who didn't have any property in Suamico. There were folks who were farmers. There were folks who were here not because of the farmland preservation or maintaining this program, but there were folks who were supporting this program and were not part of the program. There were folks supporting the program because they want to maintain Suamico's rural character. So there was a full gamut of individuals who were here supporting this program. There was one impassioned statement that was made by one individual who said, this is a small thing. It's going to cost maybe $8,000 or something like that, but it's beneficial. The farmers pay a ton of money into the economy, and it costs farmers a ton of money to do what they do and provide food for people. This is a small thing. And really, in the whole scheme of expenses for the village, it is a small thing. But the question is this, we're going to face a lot of these questions with the comprehensive plan. This comprehensive plan is about 14,000 residents in the village of Suamico. And we had 35 who were here giving their particular input on one element. And we got a lot more of these elements coming. So that was the opportunity. The confusion was nothing was happening to farmland preservation, that designation of property. It was about this program that currently affects 5 people. Do we keep it in the comprehensive plan going forward, or is it the recommendation overall from, citizen input that we get rid of it? It was pretty unanimous, obviously, in the audience that we keep it in, and that was the decision from the advisory panel, was to maintain it going forward. Your notes, Trustee Eckert, that you provided, and the notes of Mr. Krumberger that he provided from the Department of Public Works, those were tabled for discussion to hold on to them until, as Trustee Roma said, we get the report back from Department of Public Works. The Planning and Zoning Commission, as they did for every other commission within the village, Park and Rec, Public Works, I already mentioned Public Works, DPW, went back and said, what is the plan that you want to see in the future? Help us to understand what the priorities are going forward. That's what we asked of Public Works, to point out, where potential sewer and water, whatever, what they see in the future. We're waiting for that plan to come back so that we can take your notes and Mr. Krumberger's notes and the report and the details that Public Works has, and have that discussion with the advisory committee. And then hopefully do that with Park and Rec, and hopefully do that with the other, committees that are going to help, foundationally put this information together. The last piece, this visioning session. So emphasis on this visioning session on March 9th. This session is not about the advisory committee or the planning and zoning or any board member or any committee member leading the discussion or trying to bring somebody down any particular direction. It's to get people in the door, which is why this is posted at the post office, on the front door, on the sign outside. We're trying to post it and hand out flyers to get people here to sit in a series of tables and be, asked methodically, what are your views on this topic, and to record that, and then bring that all back together to the advisory commission to say, here's what we heard. Just like we did, just like Andy Condon on the commission did, looking at the 2023 survey, something like that. Bring together all the feedback and see what are the main things that we're hearing, what are the main directions that we're hearing, and then, try to work that into the feedback that comes from the commission. The visioning session isn't about, it's not a discussion. It's a visioning session asking people for their opinion. The discussion will follow. But right now it's getting everybody's feedback for, what they see. And again, for anybody, for the 9 people that are listening to this meeting, if there's that many tonight, I hope they all come. And I hope that you guys, each one of us takes it as our job to get 2 or 3 people here, and we have that, we have a nice robust session learning what everybody wants to see in the village of Suamico in the next 10 years. And I didn't mean to overstep you, Trustee Stevens. It's just, I thought it needed to be made clear.
Yeah, and the only other thing that we were asking was, what intelligence will the Brown County bring to us relative to what's happening in the demographics of our county, our community, and what's happening with some of the housing? And because we didn't feel qualified that we have enough intelligence on this topic, and they assured us that they have data that they'll bring but they will not make recommendations for us. It'll be more of a multiple choice than anything else. So I'm anxious to see what they are going to bring to us relative to just some of those topics. Anything else?
Yeah, just 3 clarifications. Dan Carlson, thank you very much. Okay. The second thing is, when I go to these meetings, I am not a voting member. I don't usually participate in the discussion. I usually sit in that chair back there and I just listen and take notes. So we're not corrupting that process, right? Just want to make sure everyone in the world is clear on that. And the last thing is, when we've said a couple times tonight that there are people here that don't even own property in Suamico. So I just want to know, so I know there's some people that rented Suamico property, like you'd have a farmer in Suamico, they'd have X amount of land, and you have a renter. That's what we're talking about when we say that? Or are we saying that there were people here like from a lobbying group or something?
No, he's still tilling property within
Yeah.
Suamico. He has,
He just
Leases
rents
it.
the income tax credit is not something he will be able to collect because he doesn't have a parcel of land. And there's just the one that I'm aware of.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, because it could come off to someone just listening to the meeting like there were lobbyists here, you know, or something. It's not the
Yeah, because we attract so much of that.
You never know.
First time for everything.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do when I retire from the board.
Any other input,
Lobby.
questions? All right. Okay, thanks. Let's go on to item number 9, which is the Fire Department items, 2025 Suamico Fire Department Annual Report. Chief Bertler, if you would.
Thank you. Just wanted to give a brief update on our annual report. Before I get started, I want to thank Captain Tracy Bazell and our administrative assistant, Mary Van Evenhoven, for their work and time onto this. So I'm just going to go over a minute of quick highlights. Responded to 699 total incidents that we actually responded to. 411 of those were EMS or first responder calls, then 288 were fire incidents. So I want to break down that 288. Out of that 288, about a quarter of them were outbound, meaning went to Howard, Pulaski, Little Suamico, Green Bay. So for automatic aid or mutual aid, about a quarter of our calls were out of Suamico for fire calls. One of the big things that we did for the school district is we placed tourniquets in every classroom, trained over 800 teachers and staff, completed 778 fire inspections, and then completed 54 public relations or pub ed events. So that's going to schools, daycares, businesses, that type of stuff. So as you may recall, we also placed our new engine 1211 into service and refurbished 2 of our tenders instead of buying new ones. It would be tender 1211 and tender 1221. So the association also bought the fire department a new rescue trailer that hosts our water rescue equipment and confined space equipment as well. So, and then just a few on the staffing. We welcomed 11 new members to the department, and the whole department trained on 111 different training topics or EMS courses, and then received a bunch of funding from either grants or other sources as well, which eased the burden on taxpayers. So I just want to thank the village board for their continued support and success of this department. We're one of the very few departments that are actually fully staffed, especially for a paid on call combination department that we are. So without your support, that would not happen. So just want to thank you, and if you have any questions, shoot away. So.
I have a question, actually. So looking at, our fire station number 2, how much life do we have left in that?
So we've put a lot of money in the last 4 or 5 years. We've probably spent 100,000-ish. It's been a lot of money. We put new boilers in there. We've put new ceiling tiles, new carpeting, new tile, new lighting.
So
Alex
no
said we can't build a new fire station for a long time, so.
Until after I'm retired.
Yeah.
I hope so.
And I'll be retired before him, so. So, it is.
It was built in 1990, what?
2, 6 or somewhere else. somewhere around there. So it's
It's not 75 years old yet.
It's not 75 years old yet, yeah.
All right.
But we've put a lot of money into the last, like I said, 4 or 5 years with new boilers, carpeting, lights. This year, we put new LED lighting in there, just to save money, because they were fluorescent ones which stayed on and always were burning out, so, they're automatic now, so if someone
They
leaves the
could have started
building.
a fire.
We hope not. So if that way, if someone leaves, forget to shut off the lights, they all immediately turn off, so. Put a lot of money in that, so Alex said we can't build a new fire station, well, as long as he's here, so.
Structurally, it's perfectly fine. You're gonna pay for this new equipment whether you build a new station or use the structure you already have, so
We don't
we're
need to
doing
build a
fine
new.
with the structure we have.
Good.
He gets everything else he wants.
Oh.
He doesn't need a new building too.
Any other questions?
Just a statement. So, although I appreciate the thank you you give to the board every time, you should also be shown appreciation, because when it comes down to it, the reason people perform and the reason people show up to work is the leadership in the department. And that, I believe, sits squarely on your shoulders. So
Thank you.
well done.
I have a great command staff, which helps out every day as well, so,
And you're humble,
thank you.
so.
So if you were to reflect on the year, what was the biggest success?
Man, I always say, and I know this sounds cliche, whatever, but that every firefighter went home at the end of the day. And that is my goal, till I retire, is that, they can go back to their family, their husband, wife, and didn't get hurt or, heaven forbid, die. So I think that's a success every year and every day, so. I know it sounds cliche, but that is kind of my hope and dream in this department and village, so. And I think that's, and I mean that when we get those grants or give the funding, I know this, I'm not trying to suck up or butter up here, but we need the tools, we need the money to be successful and to keep our firefighters safe, so. And that, like a new engine, we spent $925,000, which is a ton of money, I'm not gonna lie, but we also, the back end refurbished 2 tenders, which saved the village also a lot of money. But our other engine was, we were band-aiding that thing, and it was becoming a hazard, so. When I kick it back to you, that new piece of equipment, although it does cost a lot, it was a safety hazard, so.
What are the 2 districts? District 1, District 2?
So Station 1, Station 2, so I guess if we kind of put the village, like would be the southwest corner would be Station 2 area, and kind of the northeast would be Station 1. So just kind of divide the village up of where each station responds. Now, if it's a fire or a car accident, both stations respond, so they go in each other's district, but we just break it up and that happens like if there's a CO call, we don't need 3 engines responding, we just need 1 engine responding, so.
I noticed there's a big difference in traffic between those 2 districts.
Mm-hmm.
Is that based on population or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, it is based on population, highways, that type of stuff, so.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else for Chief Bertler?
I thought Michelle would have 1.
You got away lucky tonight.
But thank you.
You really want me to?
No, we're good, we're good, we're good.
We're good, we're fine.
So what is it, District 1 is?
have it.
District, what did he say?
Okay,
District 1 is the Station 1 area. It's going to be the northeast half of Suamico.
Okay, and then southwest is District?
Yeah, southwest, southeast kind of Station 2, so.
Okay.
all right, anything else for Chief Bertler? Nothing else going once, twice? Nothing else for Chief Bertler. All right, discussion on future agenda items. Anyone with a future agenda item?
That Mink Ranch building, maybe coming up?
It was an
We were
item.
told March 2nd. We'll be there.
What, March, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else?
Just a question. So say, for instance, I was so inclined to go through the Village of Suamico guidelines for operators licenses and make some suggested changes. Is there a process that we follow if a person wants to make a change in that? Like they submit it to staff through a form and it shows up on the agenda? I mean, up here, the 7 of us, 1 of us can just say, hey, let's look through it, and the other give it a second, and we go forward. But Joe Citizen, if they want to make a change, is there a process to do that?
They would fill out a request for public health and safety for an agenda request,
Okay,
and then that committee can take it up,
so they go.
which I think they have.
To
It
the
was a couple
committee
years ago
process.
that they looked at it, yeah.
So there is a process.
There is a
If the person's
process.
not happy or comfortable with the guideline, there's a process to go and make that change.
Correct.
When a person applies for a license, are they given the guidelines? I should know this, but I forgot.
Only if it's recommended for denial. Goes with the letter.
Okay, because you
Only-
you can
Only if
apply
they're
online.
recommended for denial, yeah.
Would it be worthwhile to give a copy of the guidelines to a person before they apply? If we can, I mean, I realize you can apply it like multiple ways.
Possibly, because if somebody doesn't include something on their application,
That's
Right away.
reason for denial.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could possibly make a difference. I guess I can't say for sure, but I can see
I
it.
don't know how logistically it would work.
Do they have to come into the office for an application?
There's online.
So that could just be part of that.
Yeah,
The
if
terms
you
and
added it to the
conditions.
online, as an item that they could click on, so they could look at those online, then there wouldn't be any additional cost, except for the fact of setting it up. But that's information is already available on our website, right?
Is it? I don't know.
Are you looking at me or Mark?
Whomever has the answer.
It is.
The guidelines
The
are.
guidelines are under
You give an
the backside.
about the
Okay.
decision on the firearms?
Anyway,
No decision.
all right.
I mean, there's-
Anybody have anything else?
I would assume it should be
No?
coming back up, but there was no change.
We're looking this up.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to find out if there was a way a person would know this before they applied.
Is there anyone who would like to offer this evening's motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Trustee Romas has offered this evening's motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from trustee Eckert. All those in favor of adjourning this evening's meeting of the Suamico Village Board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you all. Have a good evening.